Out of 100 men, I would say less than 5 go on a first date expecting the woman to pay for him. Wait, are you saying pay for him or pay for yourself?
For both.
I think that's less than 2 in 100 men. My producer's like, nah. Definitely happens. I mean, you know that saying, they say men fall in love with their eyes and women fall in love with their ears. That's why women wear makeup and men tell lies. I think dating is actually easier, but getting into a relationship is harder. Yo guys, welcome back to another episode on my channel. I'm sitting in this spot, which means I've got a great conversation lined up for you today. You know, on this channel, we like to talk about all things dating and relationships and seeing what we can do to attract the kind of relationship we want. So without further ado, please welcome Brooke to the show.
Hi guys, how's everyone?
We're good. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
I know, I got her inside because the sun is shining and we appreciate you coming inside for us, even though we really wish we were out there. Absolutely. So I want to jump right in as I always do. So tell us your age or your age range and something a guy should know about you if he wants to take you on a date.
So I am 23 and I am a performer.
Okay. Oh yeah, we were talking about this. So what kind of performer are you? Because that could mean anything nowadays.
That could be, that's
that
really
could
true.
Be anything.
Like, well, you know, I could be like a stripper or something.
You could
but
be.
I'm not. So I am a musical theatre performer, but mainly a dancer. And I do many styles from street to ballet.
Nice.
So,
oh, street and ballet.
Yeah, but my go-to is street.
Your go-to is street.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And have you dated dancers before or guys who maybe aren't in that line of work? Are they like, do they love that or what?
Funny enough, no.
You never dated a guy
never,
outside of that?
No. Oh, no, yeah, I have. Like, I've not dated any like performing arts people.
Oh, really?
I've dated the complete opposite.
Has that been like intentional?
No. I just sort of, like when you get to know someone, you don't realise. And then they're like, oh yeah, no, I do this. And I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, no, nothing.
Interesting. And what do you look for, like, initially in a guy?
Beforehand, it wasn't really many looks. It was just sort of, I can have a conversation with them. Just because, like, looks is good. I need to be attracted to you, obviously.
Sure.
But if you don't really have much going on, then I'm not really interested. Like, if you're very like, oh yeah, I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, no, I like a nice, quiet, calm boy.
Okay, so like more of an introvert, not center of attention. Because she's a performer, she wants to be the center of attention.
Obviously.
Joking. Nah, I hear that. No, for sure, that balance. I'm going to open the floor to you because you brought some things that you want to kind of talk about today, any questions and topics. So I'll open the floor to you. What do you want us to start with?
So do you think it's harder to date in this generation compared to previous? So obviously with the Gen Z generation.
Yep.
Talking about, I don't know, 50 years ago, or like our parents.
Yeah.
I feel like it's completely different.
Yep, very much so.
In the sense of we've got technology. We are so more open and diverse to things that we wasn't beforehand.
Yep.
And it was very like obviously morals and traditional stuff. It's like by this age you've got to be this, dun dun dun, and that was how it was. And it was never, no one really blinked to our eyelid. Yeah. Now we're in a completely different situation, and I do think it's a lot harder. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I think dating is actually easier, but getting into a relationship is harder. I think many people date, but less people today are in relationships than before. I think part of that, you're absolutely right. Social media, the internet, technology, transportation, all of this stuff. What it's done, it's given a lot of power to the individual that the individual has never had before.
Yeah.
So ironically, we are way more accessible, right? There's way more perceived options. You know, back in the day, you know, the girl who grew up in Norfolk, she would choose and marry a guy from her town of like 300 people, right? Now with technology and then transportation and social media, internet, now she can match with the hotshot lawyer in London, the rapper from Paris, the producer in LA. And so the guys around her don't look that great in comparison.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's gotten harder. It's definitely gotten harder for guys to get the opportunity with women, but it's also gotten harder for women to get relationships because most women are choosing the same pool of men. to give an opportunity to. And then for those kind of guys, if they're not really looking to settle down and have kids, there's no real incentive for him to just commit to one woman. But I think, in answer to your question, is it harder than before? We have much more power today. So it means that we actually have to take more accountability and agency over how we date. Whereas back in the day, because there was only really one way to do things, it was like, we really didn't have to take that much accountability or agency for it because there was just one way to do things.
Yeah.
Now you can meet loads of people from wherever, fly out wherever, go wherever. So what's happening now is, I think what we're seeing when we have the power and accessibility, but we're not having that inner growth to be accountable for how we choose, who we're drawn to, and all of this stuff. We're seeing a kind of level of chaos. It's kind of like, it's way easier to be like, I don't know, really overweight today because we have so much like access to like different kinds of foods. Whereas back in the day, just having food on the table was like the plus for people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like back in the day, it was actually, the irony is way back in the day, if you're a man and you had a wife who was like really overweight, that was a sign of wealth because you could afford a lot of food.
Yeah, and you could provide.
Do you know what I mean?
That,
and you can provide. So does that mean back in the day people just ate healthier because they were better? No, it's because they didn't have the level of power and accessibility to all these different kinds of foods.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, definitely.
But it's also the same as being in shape. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're really hench, we have way more accessibilities for training and, you know, supplements and all this stuff. So it's harder because I think what's happening is we're having to adjust to this new power that we have. And part of growth, sometimes we have growing pains. And part of the growing pain is being like, wow, it's shit right now because we actually don't know how to do this properly yet.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
We're still learning, like going through the process. Because if you think about it, it's still new to us. Like, it is so different. Like our parents, and we can't really relate to them and they can't really relate to us because they're still like, well, you know, like normally you go to a bar like back then. Yeah. And you meet someone like face to face. Now you can meet someone, you've got no idea who they are, but you'd be like, well, they look good, they've got this, they've got that.
Very true.
And I want that, so I'm going to go for that. But then the person in your hometown who has all them qualities, but because they haven't got the look or that type of money, you don't look at them. But because you see that, well, I'll go for that. You go, like, it's crazy.
And so for you, have you... Because we've all been guilty of that, for sure. I've been guilty of just choosing a girl just because I think she looks really good without taking into account kind of who she is as a person. Do you know what I mean? So have you had that experience of choosing a guy because of, you know, the flashy initial things and then kind of realizing that wasn't for you, or?
Personally, for me, I'm not a material. Oh my God,
you got it. I believe in you.
Materialistic girl. Yeah. So it's all that flashy stuff I found really cocky.
What about looks though?
Looks? Oh yeah, like, you know what I mean. If you see someone who's like, he's a good like 10 out of 10 or so, like 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I do. Like, I want to like a bit of that. So you will like go for that guy, instead of someone who may not have all the looks. But yeah, we've all done it. We've all like, well, especially when we're younger, we've definitely gone that. But I think over the time and over the years, you realise like that's not important. And you know, like, yeah, you could look good. You could look for it right now. But like, yeah, you look really nice, but you could lose your looks tomorrow. Does that change who you are? No, it doesn't.
Very true.
So I think, yeah, a lot of people don't realise that and don't understand, like, you can't.
It's weird because I think saying it, I feel most people do get that, but then most people's actions just don't reflect that. Like, if you go to people, you shouldn't just choose someone based on looks. I think 90% of people will go, yeah, I know, obviously, like, personality matters. But then the people they choose and they get into fucked up situations is the same thing.
I like, but it's a cycle. And they get in this circle and they're like, why, even for girls, they're like, why is this happening? Why do they not like me? Why do they bob over a certain amount of time? Yeah. But it's just because like initial attraction's there, but that goes, you know what I mean? Like it's hard for someone to keep that if it's genuine. Like it's hard when you don't know when people are genuine either. Like they could either go, oh, how do you word it? Like, yeah, I think if the initial attraction, you know what? I don't know.
No?
I don't know where I was going with that, but
No, I think people can get lost in the sauce.
yeah.
They get lost in the sauce. And I think definitely happens for guys. Like if a super attractive woman takes an interest, suddenly it's like, yeah, everything about her is perfect. Do you know what I mean? I think for girls, not that looks don't play a bigger part, but I think they fall in love with more what they hear. And guys will say the most.
Oh, 100%. Guys will tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Like, and if they know that as well, they will play on it. And then they're like, oh my gosh, this guy's amazing. He's the best. Like, and it gets down the line and they're like, stuff happened. You're like, well, they didn't do that at the beginning. Why are they doing that now? But it's only because they're really like trying to pull you in when they've got you. And then now they're like, all right, done what needs to do. See you later.
Definitely happens. I mean, you know that saying, they say men fall in love with their eyes and women fall in love with their ears. That's why women wear makeup and men tell lies.
I mean, it's brutal, but it's true, isn't it?
It's true. It's true. It's funny because, like, you know when you see romantic comedies?
Yeah.
You see romantic comedies all the time. Or like, not even romantic comedies, just like romantic dramas. And it'll be like you seen Les Mis, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So like when Marius sees Cassette in the market for the first time, and he's like, this woman, like she's the one.
Yeah.
And like he like watches her, he follows her and stuff. He's so like, I know it's you. He writes a letter and leaves it on her front gate, kind of him professing his affinity towards her and how he wants his life with her, etc. And people watch that and like, oh my gosh, it's so romantic. Why isn't it like that anymore? If a guy followed you home, wrote a note and left it on your door, you'd be calling the police. What are you talking about? That doesn't exist. That's crazy territory. That's psycho behavior.
I know. It's like you, isn't it? Like,
and so it's like, when it actually goes into reality, it's kind of like, well, you can have that initial spark and stuff, but I think a lot of the time we watch this media, and I think a lot of people are searching for their own romantic drama in their lives. And it's not saying you shouldn't have romance in your lives, of course, but I think there's other side to it into facilitating that I think is easy for us to forget because we watch these films and we don't see that other side.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When was the last time you kind of realized that a guy wasn't being genuine, maybe with you? And how did you realize that?
Quite a few times. So before I met my partner now, I've been on like quite a few dates and I was seeing like people, and my last relationship, it was just very like on and off. Like, you know, everything was fine. At the first, is it love bombing when they're constantly like all over you and like tell you, you know, you make you feel so good and everything at the beginning.
Did he tell you he loved you?
Yeah.
Right. Like
really straight away. And I was like,
oh wow.
Like chill, like, you know. And then all of a sudden, like little things, they'd be sneaking to do stuff and like very vague of what they're doing, where they are and everything. And then I was like, right, hang on a minute. And it, you know, guys are gonna be guys, some people, and you feel like you could trust someone, and then it's only till like time shows and it's like actually they're never really interested in you. They were seeing multiple girls behind my back. They were doing this, doing that. But they will make you believe and like manipulate you going, well, is that what you think of me? Like, or is that what do you think of, like, you know, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, no, yeah.
They sort of, what's the way? Like, you know, when they know they're guilty, they flip it around to make you feel like you're the one being silly. So then you feel like, oh, okay. And then after you realise, like, hang on a minute, no, it's you all along. Like, you've literally been the one being genuine.
Yeah. It's interesting because it's how much wordplay that pertains to him not actually lying, but just avoiding disclosing the truth. So like, for example, let's use that example. You go, hey, like, I heard that you were sleeping with other people, or, you know, you've seen other women. Like, is that what's going on? He's like, right, is that what you actually think? You think I'm like that? Do you think I'm like that?
Yeah.
And then the conversation becomes about that, but he never answered that question.
He avoided it, but because you're so invested now of what he's saying, and now he's like, because it's back on you.
Yes.
So then you sort of forget about all that, and then it goes into that, and then you solve that issue.
Yes.
Or like, why do guys feel that fear, like that, not rejection, but like that, I don't know what it is. When you ask a question they don't like, why do they can't be straight up and forward and go, this is it, but instead they go around all the bushes to get around certain answers but never actually finishing that question. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I would say, okay, it depends on the question. One, it could be because if he thinks that the truth will make you not want to continue building this with him or indulging in having experiences with him, he's going to be very reluctant to tell you. So it could be he doesn't want to lose the option of what this is. The other thing could be that he doesn't think the girl can handle the truth. So like, for example, I think a lot of the time when a girl dates a guy, not every girl, but a lot of the time, when she's dating a guy, if they start sleeping together, generally speaking, most women are only sleeping with one guy at a time.
Yeah.
Like, she's not sleeping with multiple guys. Men are not like that. Unless you are in a committed relationship with this guy, assume that he is dating, maybe even sleeping with other women, because he probably is.
Yeah.
And so what happens is, because he could be dating you, he could be really liking you and really liking the way this is going. And he could actually be like, oh, I actually think she could become my girlfriend. And, you know, we could take that step together, right? But he's just not at that point yet. But maybe he knows, maybe from how you are with him, certain conversations, he knows that maybe you're not dating anyone else. And maybe you're not sleeping with anyone else. You're not engaging with anybody else in that way. But maybe he still is. Now, technically, he's actually not doing anything wrong because he hasn't said he's exclusive. You haven't said you're exclusive, right? You've not had that conversation. But if he's getting the impression that you're already behaving in an exclusive manner towards what you guys have, and he isn't, he may think, okay, but it's not that I don't like her, I'm just not ready to take that step yet. Yeah. And he may think that might turn you off the situation by telling you. Now, that doesn't mean that if you ask him, he shouldn't tell you. I agree.
Yeah.
He should tell you. But just be able to handle the answer just in case it's something that you don't want. Right. Because if he's like, you know, like how long you and your boyfriend dating before you made it official?
Oh, a few months.
A few months.
Yeah.
So let's say 3 months. Let's say 3 months, right? At what point were you not open to dating anyone else?
Probably I'm different the first few, like probably the first week or few weeks. Like you start talking, then when you actually see each other face to face, that's it. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I guess it's different, isn't it? For everyone's in that different. Unless you don't actually say like one to one, go, hang on a minute, are you serious? Like, are you dating anyone else? If you don't have that conversation, then you can't really.
So here's my question. So let's say you made it official, like exclusive and official.
Yeah.
Let's say at month 3.
Yep.
If halfway through month 2, you found out that he had slept with someone else, would that have turned you off him?
Yeah, you're gone. Bye.
But did he do anything wrong?
Well, in that time, I would think, yeah. Because
but you've not had that conversation, no?
If you've had that conversation, then yeah. But if you've not.
If you haven't.
And
I'm saying, I don't know if you had that conversation at month 2.
Yeah, but like for example, say you haven't. Yep. Then yeah, you haven't because you haven't clarified to go, yeah, we are exclusive, or yeah, I'm only into you. Yeah. Yeah, you should be a little bit more honest. Go, listen, I am seeing other people, but then at the same time.
So what I'm trying to say is, let's say you have that conversation at month 3, and that's when you establish the relationship. Him sleeping with someone else, he's not doing anything wrong, but that would have turned you off.
Oh yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So in this, for a guy, it's like, okay, cool. Because the thing is, a guy could be dating you seriously, but he could be sleeping with someone else casually. That doesn't mean he doesn't want you and isn't choosing you. But we know that guys can have sex without emotions, where it doesn't mean anything to him. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So if he's like, okay, cool, I'm building something here with Brooke, but maybe I'm having something casual here with Alice. Yeah. Right. And it's like, okay, I know when it gets to a point that we're establishing our connection, our relationship, I know I have to call that off, and that's not going to be anymore. But until that happens, he might want to do that. So he's not doing anything wrong, but by you knowing the truth of something that he isn't actually doing anything wrong, that could jeopardize the relationship that you now have. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So Now, that's not saying that guys should lie. If you ask him, he should be like, this is the truth, this is what's going on. But that's why guys can be reluctant to disclose that, because it could jeopardize something that he wants. And just because you're not doing it, that doesn't mean he's wrong for doing it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you mean in that sense. But I think, it just comes down to the type of people. You know what I mean? Obviously, to me, he's just not serious. Like, he's not ready for a relationship. Because...
Why do women think that?
Because if you're really want to settle down and be with someone, you shouldn't be wondering, like, where else can I get? Like, where else can I go? If you've got a potential someone there, right?
Yep.
But, it's early on, whatever, and you've got your options, right? Guys have options, okay?
A small handful of guys, but yes.
Sorry. Not like all guys, right? Take that
I hear
back.
you. Big facts.
Quite a lot of guys who are. If you're, especially getting older, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're really serious, you shouldn't want to be like messing around with anyone else. Like, if you're serious about someone, just stay with, like, you know what I mean, work things with them and go through the journey and build that relationship with them instead of trying to build little ones or just have like a...
But he's not building He's not building little relationships. He's just having casual physical intimacy with someone else.
Yeah, no. Not
Because the thing is, a guy can... How can I put this? Okay, there was a survey done. This was like 10 years ago. I found out that most women have a backup guy. Do you know what I mean when I say that?
Yeah, like, not like there's someone in the back, like, they could go to.
So there's like
if something didn't work out
right
with their relationship, there's always going to be that guy. They could just call and be like, listen, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So there's like a guy who's maybe like a male friend.
Right.
Who they know likes them.
Yeah.
But she doesn't want to choose him.
Right.
But he's there as like a backup. If she gets to a point where she wants to settle down, she hasn't had anyone that she wants, and she's like, okay, he's a good enough option as a plan B. It's not nice, but women do it.
That's so bad.
Yeah, 100%. That's not what you're saying, no?
Yeah, I get you mean that, but I'm just like, the fact, what was the statistics, roughly?
Oh, it was just a survey. I think they surveyed like 500 women, and they said that, I think over 400 of them said that, yeah, they have a male friend in their life that if they got to a point, like, you know, if they were older and they got to a point where they hadn't found anyone, etc., they know that this male friend would be up for kind of starting a family with them and committing to them and having a relationship with them.
Right.
Now, technically, if you found someone that you want, you should end that friendship, because the only reason that friendship is there is for your backup.
100%.
But most women don't.
Yeah, that's...
Because how men and women invest seriously is different. Men invest seriously through their emotional time. So he can be getting to know you. You're the one that he's going out with. You're the one that he's playing board games with. You're the one that you're going for walks with. But he just has casual sex somewhere else. Sex isn't how guys show their investment. That's how women show their investment. Because if you're looking for a relationship as a woman, generally speaking, you're only going to be physical with the guy that you see that with. You're not going to be physical with a guy that you don't.
No.
Right. But you may still receive attention from guys that you don't. You may still receive emotional time from guys that you don't, because it's nice. It's nice if someone makes an effort with us, even if we're not into them.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. Guys may still receive sexual play from a woman that he doesn't want to choose.
But you like the attention of it.
It's not the attention. Men just like sex.
And we know that.
Right? Women like sex too, but men like... I always say this, but yeah, sometimes men like variety. It's the truth.
It's crazy.
Is it crazy? Is that hard to believe?
Yes and no.
Go on.
It's just... I don't know. I just feel like...
It's not nice to hear. I understand that.
No, definitely not. Don't get me wrong, right? When guys
fucking
are younger...
terribles are here. What the fuck is this?
What's this shit? No, right, when you're younger, right, guys, you are full of like just a sex drive, basically. You're full of like hormones, everything. Like, you just wanna go about and whatever. Yeah, do what you gotta do, right? Go for it, okay? But then I feel like it gets to a point at your age where you're like, right, now I need to stop. Now I need to sort my shit out. And a lot of guys don't. They just still want to mess about. One thing I will say, actually, you said about that, but like how guys will sleep with someone and have no emotional connection. They can just drop it.
Yes.
Us females, we are very emotional. We are very sensitive.
Very true.
And that's why it does take ages for us to, you know, build and like get that more of a connection more. But like some guys say to girls like, oh, listen, I'll sleep with you, but please don't get attached, or please don't like, and is that your way, just breaking it down, going, or that's when it's like, we're just friends, like, you know, we're just friends, like, yeah, I'll sleep with you, but we're just friends, so don't get any like ideas. Is that your way going, I don't find you attractive, or there is no hope for us? So is that why they shut it to go, like, excuse it as we're just friends, so don't get feelings, because they don't want to have that tie with them.
So when a guy is saying that to the girl?
To the girl, yeah.
Yeah, so that's him saying, this is a casual thing. This is not something that I'm pursuing seriously.
Yeah.
It might be like, I like you as a person. I find you attractive. We have great chemistry. Let's have fun together. But I'm not looking for anything serious. Either I'm not looking for anything serious, or I'm not looking for anything serious with you.
Yeah, with you. That's the thing. Because so many girls like come up to me, they're like, yeah, I've slept with him, but he's like, no, he's not replying to my text the next day, or he's not doing this. And I'm like, that's your sign to go, like, he's not interested. But then I'll say, did he warn you before though? Did he say to you? And when they're like, yeah, they did. And it's
then
like,
that's on you.
That is on you.
And this is what I'm saying. You know how I was saying about we have so much power?
Yeah.
But we're still adjusting to having the responsibility with that power. Like, we live in a society where we can have sex with whoever we want.
Yeah.
Outside of marriage and outside of relationships. It never used to be that way.
No, you had to be married.
100%. You had to be married.
Yeah.
Now you have a lot of girls out here having sex with guys willy-nilly, and they're like, but why are they not giving me the commitment and relationship and reciprocation that I'm giving them? And it's like, well, you have the power of sex, but you have to use that responsibly to serve what you want. So like, for example, the conversation I'll have is, you know, I always advocate, I was like, as a woman, you shouldn't be having sex on the first date if you want a relationship.
No.
For me, that's really simple. But then girls are like, why can't I? And I'm like, you know what? Cool. You keep doing it. Let me know how it goes for you.
I feel like, obviously, I'm not judging anyone, you know what I mean?
No, if you want something casual, do your thing.
Honestly, do what you like, just be safe. But like, yeah, exactly. There are so many things. I as well feel like a lady or girl who wants to have that respect from a guy. You don't want to be doing certain things within the first few dates. No. I feel like you don't want to get intimacy so quickly, because I feel like once the guy works, he's like a hunter. Back in the day, you know what I mean, you have to hunt. You're like you go after the girl. If you do basically what they want straight away, you sort of like you've given everything to this guy straight away. So they're like, okay, I don't need to work for you now. I've got what I want. See you later. But if they're generally like, oh, actually, you want a relationship, I actually want to get to know you, wait. Like, you don't feel like everyone rushes into stuff so quickly. And it's like, just take a step back and like, yeah, just...
Yeah, what it's about, it's about the woman providing the space where he can form an emotional connection with her before having the physical intimacy.
Yeah.
Now, I do think what with women I work with, sexual progression is very effective. So this is when you're not having sex like in the first few dates like that, but maybe the first date, maybe you share a kiss. And maybe the second date, maybe it's a bit more of a passionate kiss and there's a bit of touching here and there.
Yeah.
And then, you know, maybe the third date you go out something, maybe the fourth date, maybe you stay over. If you do stay over, you do not have sex.
No.
Do not have sex. Maybe you do stuff. Maybe you don't. And it's progression. And what's happening is you're building the emotional intimacy and the physical intimacy together.
Yeah.
And generally, the reason that works very well is what ends up happening is he starts investing more in you because he's getting towards the very thing he took an interest in you for initially.
Yeah.
Right? Which is the physical play, the physical intimacy. While he's doing that, he's also forming
that bond
with you. Yeah. And you guys are having that connection. So then when you do have sex, when you actually do have sex, you've allowed that space, you've built that rapport, and then you text him the following day, he's going to be texting you back. Or even he'll probably
Yeah.
text you first.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, hey, where can I see you?
See
Last night was
because they're
great.
excited. They're like, it's like, is it like dopamine? Like, you know that in your
Yeah,
brain?
yeah.
It is. It's like that, oh, like, I like that. I want that again.
100%.
But because they've had to wait and work for it,
Mm.
they feel like, all right, okay. Like, you know, they get more excited for it. If you give it straight away, it's sort of gone, like that moment, that magic feeling's gone, and it's not the same as it would be
100%.
like after. So yeah, I feel like you just need to, I feel like those people, like you're sitting there going like, why has he not texted me back? Maybe next time go, hang on a minute, let's take a step back. Like, you don't need to, you know, everyone, I think as well, like with social media, like you see all these relationships, you see like everyone's like, yeah, we're doing this, we're doing that. So they're like, well, I need that, I need to do that, I need to be like this. Like, you know, I want them to be like all over me. Like, because don't forget, people are very different.
People are very different.
People love language as well is different. So people could be physical. Some of it could be they could do things for you, or that, you know, it could be anything. Like,
yeah.
And I think like people don't realise like way people's manners are, that it's different. Not like I'm going way off topic from what you're saying.
Go for it.
But like, yeah, people could be like in a room full of people, couples.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them could be really touchy. Some of them could be, you know, very quiet to each other because they prefer to be more physical, like in a away time.
Yes.
Or some people are just generally not. Like, they're just like, I don't want you to touch me, but it doesn't mean I don't like you or I don't love you. And I feel like people look around and go, well, why are they like so close together and I'm not?
Yeah.
So then they try and get close to the guy and go, oh, maybe if I just sleep with him, or maybe if I do this and that, then he will be like that. And it's like, no, like you need to get to the person to know why they're not doing that or why this and that. Then it'll be like, okay. But communication is a big thing.
Yeah.
With just dating and relationships in general.
Yeah, 100%.
Like,
what do you think is... Do you think girls nowadays, do you think they sleep with guys very quickly because they want to have sex with him straight away? Or do you think they're doing it because they think that's how they're going to get him?
I think a bit both. I think it's just, I feel like if you're a bit younger, you do think, oh, if I just do it, then he'll like me.
Right.
Especially when you're surrounded by so many beautiful people and you're like, oh, well, you know, I want him to notice me. Like, so then you will do it. But then that's you losing kind of respect of, you know what I mean?
The irony is if everyone's doing it, you doing it doesn't...
You're doing it, yeah.
Doesn't add to that.
It doesn't look as bad.
Yeah.
In that sense. But I don't know, I think you've got to be strong-minded. You've got to like put your foot down and be like, no. Like, and self-worth. Self-worth.
100%. I think just, you know, exercising that sexual discipline, really. And like we all have to for the benefit of the relationship that we want.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And it's worth it if you want it. Let me ask you something.
Far away.
Let me do it. Okay, do you think a party girl phase...
Yeah.
I'm going to say party girl, I mean a girl where she's like, I don't want any commitment, I just want to have fun, kind of just explore sexually, etc. Maybe she'll sleep with a guy like first time she meets him, or, you know, have a guy who's just a friends with benefit situation for a bit, maybe a couple. Do you think like the party phase is really beneficial, detrimental, or doesn't really matter?
Yes and no. If you're...
To which one?
Beneficial, I think it is sort of, not the whole like sleepy thing, but like the partying sort of...
Yep.
You know, I feel like you need to go out and have that fun. You need to explore and see there is so many opportunities out there, and also see what you like, because everyone's different. Like,
very true.
You know,
yeah.
Like I can't say, oh, go out and, you know, go and party for a little while, you know, and because you could be a stay-in person and you don't like that. You're opposite to that. But yeah, back to the party and like, what was the last bit with the?
Where what?
With the, if they sleep straight away.
So part of the party girl phase is just kind of being very casual with sex, essentially.
Oh, right, yeah.
With like guys and stuff.
So just go out and be like, all right, if I sleep with someone, all right, type thing?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you're loving this episode and these kinds of conversations, then I want to give you something. We recently launched the Kits Angels community. This is a sisterhood for women who are tired of what the dating scene has given them and are ready to take their love lives to the next level. It's a space for you as a woman to not be alone in your journey to love, where we learn, talk, and share our experiences as part of a strong sisterhood, with some leadership and guidance from yours truly, of course. Not to mention never before seen videos from me on how I've led dozens of women to meeting great men. And so as a thank you for watching this episode, I'm giving you a month's membership completely complimentary on me. Just click the Kits Angels link below, and when you join the group, message me the code phrase Angels Podcast and I will pay for your membership. Now back to the episode. Do you think that's like, do you think most girls benefit from like having that party girl phase?
Maybe a little bit, because I feel like as for guys as well, you know, you go through that stage where you just want to go out, get as many girls and that.
Sure.
And it is, I think that's just like the young, it's just where you're so young, all your hormones, you don't know what you're doing, do you?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's the same for girls in that sense, but I feel like girls are more or less likely to sleep with someone straight away. Like if it was a guy that goes to you, oh yeah, like would you? They might be like, right, yeah, but a girl wouldn't come up to you and go, yeah, do you want to come back to mine?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say beneficial. I just think if you want to go and experience that, go and do that. I personally not that type of person anyway. Yeah, I'll go out and have a bit of fun, like a few drinks, but I wouldn't go to anyone and be like, oh yeah, no, come back to mine, you know.
Yeah.
But then I know there is girls who do. They go out purposely for that.
Yeah.
You
so
know.
True. Yeah.
And all right, got your needs, but like, yeah, I feel it depends on what type of person you are and what your goal is. You know what I mean? Like,
I think you're right.
What are you getting out? What are you getting out of it? You know, if you're trying to find something out of it, you're probably not. Like, but if you just want a bit of fun, sort of just get that little buzz, then yeah, go for it. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's like beneficial in that sense.
Just very explorative. Just very. It's one of those things where I think I agree. You can find out what you want and what works for you.
Yeah.
I think there's more risk to it than we led on, especially for women. I think, you know, if you're engaging casually with guys that you don't really know, there's kind of more risk to her own safety. But there's also kind of risk for her to use that as a coping mechanism for something. And the reason I say that is because I've talked to quite a few women where I ask like what they feel about this kind of casual, like really fun phase and stuff. And I think indulging in it for a bit like a phase is cool, but those who do it over an extended period of time, it's like they're using sex to feel loved instead of using love to have sex. And if that's the habit in which you engage in this kind of behavior, when you meet a guy who wants to give you love and sex, it's going to feel so alien to you, you might reject it. And that happens a lot.
It's because of fear. They're like, well, I don't, you know, they're like, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember there was somebody who I dated, and it kind of got serious at one point.
Yeah.
But, you know, I dated for a little bit and she was very much kind of in that phase. I say dated, like we were having fun. And then we were like, oh, maybe there's actually something here.
Yeah.
And then there was like one time where like, you know, being physical and stuff, but it wasn't just a lustful thing. It was a very much like an emotional thing.
Right.
And she just started crying. Like she just started crying. And it was just like, I was like, well, I was like, you okay? Like, what's up? She's like, you know, and I was like, look, let's stop. Like, it's okay. It's calm. We don't have to, you know, do this. We can just chill. And then she ended up leaving that day. And then when I talked to her after, and we carried on, like, seeing each other for a bit, but she was just like, I just got really emotional because I just realized, like, I really like you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was the first time that we actually engaged in, like, intimacy in sex. Before it had just been, like, a lustful thing. And that was the space we were both in at the time.
Yeah.
But then for her to kind of revisit the intimacy thing, there's such a level of vulnerability that I think for her to engage in casual sex for how long she had, she just kind of cut that side off from herself, from this physical act. And so while I think I don't think it's necessarily bad for women to do this, but I think if you are going to do that, I think go in doing it, understanding why you're doing it, and then, you know, it's really understanding why you're doing it, to be honest. And then I think, this is my biased opinion, I don't think it should be a habit over a long term, because I think for some women, there are exceptions to every rule, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I think for most that I've seen and talked to, like it becomes, the longer they stay in it, the more it becomes a detriment to them, not like a positive thing. Do you know what I mean? And I'd even say that for guys, but for different reasons.
Okay.
I think for guys, why they shouldn't only indulge in that, especially for a long period of time, is because they can develop a bad appetite for different women, and that makes it very difficult to commit to one woman long term.
Okay. What point would you go, so you're seeing a girl, have you ever been in a situation where you're seeing a girl, you go like, yeah, actually, I really want to date you. What point would you go, yeah, okay, let's take this start to the next level?
It'd usually be something where I see how she is with my friends, or I see how she is at a moment where maybe I'm vulnerable.
Okay. Do you like to be vulnerable? Like, how's that feel?
It takes a lot. I think for most guys, it takes a lot of trust to be vulnerable with a girl, because a lot of guys have experienced it being used against them.
Right. Okay.
So like, you know, a guy I know, his dad wasn't in his life, worked out on him and his mum, and in the early dating stages of a girl he was seeing, he was like, he's like, yeah, like, they're like, what do your parents do? He's like, oh, my mum does this, but like my dad's not been in my life and stuff. And, I kind of felt that I didn't really have that masculine figure in my life to kind of show me what it means to be a man, etc. And I kind of had to find my own way. Fast forward like a month later, they get into an argument and stuff, something about him being a man. And she was like, well, yeah, it's probably because your father wasn't in your life. And he was like, wow. Okay. And then from that, I remember talking to him from that, and he was like, yeah, I'm never sharing that with a girl. Like saying that to a girl again. I was like, bro, it took a while, but I was like, honestly, man, that's a reflection on her, not you.
100%.
I promise. But it takes a lot of trust, I think. The deeper it is, the more trust it takes. And I think is especially because, if I'm being honest, there aren't always that many spaces for guys to share that level of vulnerability publicly.
Oh, no.
Do you know what I mean?
It's tough for guys.
Well, it can be, for sure. I think within their boys, I think it's definitely easier behind closed doors. But yeah, and so to have a woman who can actually embrace that side of him, because the thing is, it's like, yeah, I get men do provide and protect women, but women protect men spiritually.
Oh, 100%.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so a guy being vulnerable with you and wouldn't be able to do that, that's her protecting him. That's her looking after his spirit.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'd have to say, okay, like, for example, like, I don't know if I should say it. I don't think I've ever shared this publicly. So with my girlfriend, I think I knew the moment I was like, nah, this is her. And it was when she'd come to a show. It was a premiere of something I was in.
Yeah.
Like something I was in. I won't say what, so people don't know. They don't know
it was
what it is.
particularly like, where's he on?
And there was a part in the film where we are singing about the person who had died.
Yeah.
And I had lost my dad recently at the time.
Oh, sorry.
And I appreciate that. And it was a cinema. We were just watching the film and stuff.
Yeah.
She was next to me. But a lot of the words were resonating with me. And so I did shed like a couple of tears and stuff, and I wasn't moving, but it was very dark.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I can have this moment by myself. No one knows. And then I was good. And then I was meeting with a business partner that evening. And then my phone rang and it was her, and I answered. I was like, hey, you're right. Yeah. She was like, look, I just wanted to check in on you. I was like, yeah, I'm good. You all right? I was like, what happened? She was like, no, like I just know, there was a bit of a moment in the cinema and stuff, and I just wanted to let you have that. But, I know you're with your business partner, but I I just wanted to check that you're okay. And I was like, fuck. I was like, I've never had a girl be like that ever with me, ever. So I was like, nah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there was one other moment where she kind of, and I don't want to make it about this, but she asked my mum, she was like, this is quite early on, but they were at an event together for me. And she was like, how can I best support and serve Kit for what he needs to do? And I was like, I've never ever had a girl like that for me, ever.
That's amazing.
So I was just like, at that point, it was like,
yep,
it is what it is, boy. Anyone else I was talking to, I was like, I'm sorry. It is what it is.
Later.
Do you know what I mean? And the future's never guaranteed and stuff, but I'm just being honest. You know, that's kind of when I was like, yeah. Do you know what I mean? And it wasn't when I had the best sex.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, I don't know, when I could say bought something, but it wasn't in the moments that I think women think about. Yeah. Like, who gives him the best sex, or which girl looks the best? Like, she walked out and he was just like, wow, she looks incredible.
Yeah.
It's in the moments that, honestly, dare I say, it's probably the most subtle thing about men. Like, we don't get subtlety a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But a girl who can look after a man's spirit, man, that's so invaluable to him.
It is.
Sure.
It's so pure, and like, it is rare in a sense, like, if you've got that special sort of like someone who can make you feel like, when you're in your vulnerable, when you feel like, oh my gosh, because as a guy, like, you've got a lot of pride and ego, and you don't want
that we do. That we do.
You do. Like, you don't want, like, you know, someone to like come in and like, you know, make you feel like shit, like, or small or anything. You're like, no, who are you? Like, I'm fine. What are you doing? But that is so sweet to hear, because, you know, it is hard, I think, for guys as well. Like, when you do have them little moments to yourself where you do need that little cry, because guys cry, men do cry.
Apparently, that's the only time I've ever cried, guys, ever.
All right.
Not even when I was a baby. When I came out, I wasn't even crying. I was just like, I'm here.
What's up?
I'm here. That's it.
What's happening?
No, it's true. And especially because, like, very much, at least for my relationship, she would say this, she's very much the emotional waves of the relationship.
Yeah.
And I'm the one kind of calming her down, or like essentially being the mountain she can crash her waves into. Do you know what I mean? So, and I've had before where, you know, that's part of how at least maybe I and how a lot of men show love, is providing that emotional stability for the woman. Do you know what I mean? You know, I love doing that. But I think sometimes, because those vulnerable moments for him don't happen often, I think for some women, when it does happen, they don't know how to deal with it. No. Or they're like, what is this? Like, I don't understand. Like, are you still, do you know what I mean? But yeah, and you know, I had a lot of stuff on my plate because I'm the eldest, so I took a lot of responsibility from like my family and my dad passing all this stuff. But yeah, man. So yeah, in answer to your question, long-winded way, but that's one thing I would say. What's something else you want to?
Well, thanks for sharing that. That's quite big, you know what I mean?
I know. I can't believe it, guys. How have I done that? Maybe I should delete this episode while I still can. No, I'm just joking. It is what it is, man. It is what it is.
No, pressure. But so what was your question?
I was like, did you have something else you wanted to talk or speak on, or like a question?
No, I just think like with like relationships, actually, I've got a list for.
Yeah, go for it. Let's hit that list.
I feel like with people, they wonder if people are not as like acceptive. Like, you know, I think people find it hard to accept the other sex, and that could be whether, I don't know, you've got Joe down the road, right? He's got a top job.
Yep.
He's got a wealthy family and everything, you know. He's got like a massive family. He's doing this, doing that. But then you've got someone else who's like, you know, hasn't got all that, but still works their arse off at a job, you know. Still does his best for the family. The family's quite small, or, you know. But I feel like people are very like judgmental, going, oh, I don't know, you work there, I'm not, you know. Or, but I want to go with a guy who's got like this coming in, or whatever. Yeah. And I think it's very hard because like, I've been in relationships where the guys are not accepted me, like, you know, because of, I don't know, because of like what I do now with like the performing arts. They didn't like it because, you know, jealousy or something stupid. Like, well, there's guys dancing next to you, I don't want that, or I don't want this, whatever.
Right.
So it's so like petty. And I'm like, I've given you no reason to not trust me. I've given you no reason, like, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's, for most people, it's just that acceptance, like, yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I think when we do something either as a hobby or a profession that we enjoy, that maybe our new partner might be uncomfortable with, if we can understand why they're uncomfortable, it's not that they shouldn't be able to accept it, but I think we, as the person who's doing it or the other person, I think to show our intention, we can ask, okay, what do you need from me to help you feel reassured when I do this?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like, for example, like, let's say influencers.
Yeah.
Right? It happens a lot. Like, if a girl's an influencer, she's got a big following, she's got a boyfriend who's not in that life, he's like, I don't really enjoy you being invited to all these superstar parties and all these events, and you're posted with this and posted with that and stuff. And a lot of time girls are like, but like, I was doing this before. Like, you shouldn't have an issue with this. And I do agree.
Yeah.
As a guy, it's like, okay, if you know that's a deal breaker for you, don't date a girl who does that.
Yeah.
I agree. But then if she's intentional with this guy, she should say, I understand why you don't like it and why you feel uncomfortable. So what do you need from me
to change? And then also
to reassure you?
Yeah. And also, I think as well,
and guys the same if it was the other way around.
Yeah, vice
versa.
I mean? And that, like, you know, you've got to be lucky. I'm lucky. My partner's really supportive. Like, you know, he's like, go for it. Like, you know, and we have that communication, that trust, and it's like no issue. You know.
Yeah.
But he's the same. He's very just quiet to himself. You know, he's not into the whole social media.
Yeah.
But I feel like, yeah, if they do like come up to you and go, listen, I'm not feeling that, it wouldn't be like, okay, I want to completely change, but just sort of just think twice about certain things, or how you approach things, or how you're doing things, and how it's perceived, like perceived, yeah, to the other, like the other side, like,
yes,
and put yourself in them shoes. Like, you know, see them going out. How would you feel if they saw the same photos that you've done, or who you're with? You know what I mean?
Yeah, very true.
And I feel like if you can't do that, if you need to work on something, you know what I mean? Need to go, okay, need to sort this out or whatever.
100%.
But yeah, no, I agree.
Have you ever been in a situation where the guy, a habit or like a part of his lifestyle, something that he did, made you feel uncomfortable?
Yeah. Definitely, yeah.
Like what?
Their job was a sort of a higher role job, and sort of like helping people. I could just say they're helping people. Like, if you have been like doing something, they'll come and get you, basically. Like, and it was very like always working with like females, stuff like that. But like, it was very to the point, like, oh yeah, well, she's giving me a lift here, but we've just got to pop here first, and then got to go here first, and I'm like, okay. And it's like, apparently these same females were like getting brought up in conversation.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay. And I was like, all right, I know like you're good friends, and like, I'm not like, this is a whole, going off topic quickly, but you know, like the whole girl mates, boy mates.
Yes.
And that, so like, I'm fine with it. I'm chilled. Like, you know, I've got boy mates, like my partner's got girl mates, like whatever. Like, but it was the fact that they were constantly like in each other's like space 24/7.
Right.
And it's when you was like, okay, and then like messages were coming up. You're like, right, no, I'm not comfortable, like, at all. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
This is more than work. But no, I think like, in general, like, if you know nothing's going on, whatever, then you're like, yeah, like, if mates, your workmates or whatever, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's hard.
Yeah. Interesting about the whole, how do you feel about, like, does your boyfriend, does he have female friends?
Yeah, he's got like one or two, like, but he's very, what's it, introvert or inside? Yeah.
Yeah, introvert,
yeah. So yeah, he had like a few mates he probably met from like a festival or whatever. Met him and everything, and it was like fine, like, you know. As far as I know, like, nothing, like he said, like, he was honest, like, listen, nothing's happened between us, like, my mates have got with them, whatever, but like, trust me, like, from the get-go.
Wait, so his friends has got up with them?
Yeah. That's typical, isn't it? Like, you know.
Yeah.
Or that they fancy him or fancy each other or whatever. Or nothing's happened, but like, you know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there might be something there, but even I couldn't care, you know. Blah,
As
blah,
in,
blah.
if they fancied him?
Oh, not fancy. Well, I think one of them did or might have, whatever. But it was very like, he shot you, like, you know, I could trust him.
Like,
he was like, nah, he ain't the type for attention anyway. He's just to himself. I love it. So,
Interesting.
yeah, but he's only like got like not even many, like literally one or two, probably. Like,
what about you? Do you have male friends that he's ever like not had to talk to you, but that you guys have talked about?
Yeah, like one or two mates he just didn't feel comfortable with, and fair enough. Like, you know, when we was younger, we like because we used to like performing arts together, and that. So yeah, so you know, he was like, I don't feel comfortable because there was like, you know, like when you're young, you feel like you fancy each other, whatever, and what and that. And I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. Like,
was that with you and this other guy that you kind of fancy each other at one point?
But it was really like, young, you know, like kid stuff. But it was in our friendship group. Yeah. And he was like, listen, I'm not happy with it. And I was like, it's fine. Like, thing is, you know, I think I've got like another guy, mate, but he's been like my best mate since like secondary school, you know. He's like one of them brothers that's just sort of like, look out for you. He does performing arts. Yeah. But there's nothing never like there or off it and never will be. And but he gets on really well. They're really good mates. So they get on so well. And which I like as well, as you said earlier. You said about your girlfriend that gets on with like your mates and everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Because your mates could tell as well, like if you've got a good egg or a bad egg as well, can't they? Like they could see things. Yeah. So no, I've got like a few. I think I've got a couple, but then as you know, with like content creating and influencing, like
very true.
You do have like mates, like male or female mates, in this world,
in this space,
but it doesn't mean like, oh yeah, like we like each other, whatever. It's just literally mates, mutual mates. We just see at an event or go see somewhere else. Yeah, doesn't exactly mean like, you know, oh, like they've followed you on Instagram, they like you. I'm like, no, they just follow me because we've gone to the same events, we're doing this together, and that. But yeah. Just to tie it all in, just sort of like, it depends. It just depends, really. Like I think
if your partner's not part of that world and you kind of keep them informed, I think that really helps alleviate that insecurity. Yeah. Now, that's not saying you should be responsible for taking on their insecurity, but if they don't really get it, I think the more you involve them in it, the less threatening it is because they feel closer to it. Yeah. Does that make sense? So like, for example, you know how you're like, oh, your boyfriend gets on with this guy friend of yours really well. Yeah. And so now because they have essentially like their own level of friendship, your boyfriend is like, oh, like I know him. Like I don't feel that's an issue. Yeah. Whereas if he was completely distant from it and you ever saw this guy away from your boyfriend, that would be like, why? Oh, why would he do that? Yeah. Like, why would you do that? Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying?
But it's like very secretive. It's like,
exactly.
You don't say anything and then there's like, oh, you go see this guy like a few times. You're like, who's that? Like,
when did you do that?
Yeah, like when was this? You never said that. Then that's when it's like an issue. Like
when it's just like, you never told me seeing that. Delete. Oh my gosh, so true. What's something else on the list you want us to go through?
Let me get it up.
You right?
Oh, do you believe that guys should pay more or 50-50 in a relationship?
I'm laughing because I know what all the women want me to say. I know what the guys want me to say. There's no right answer. It depends on... Okay, here's what I will say. And this is general, I believe. There's nothing wrong with a guy paying 50-50. But I think it's in every man's interest if he can provide more than that. And the reason I say that is because if a man wants to be able to lead a relationship and want to have the love, but more importantly, the respect of the woman that he's with, part of gaining that respect, that is very effective in gaining that respect, is providing the frame for their relationship. Yeah. part of the frame, and it doesn't have to be monetarily. It could be him making her feel safe. It could be him making the plans. It could be him sorting out the logistics of them getting from A to B to C, right? But obviously, like the financial part, because money makes the world go round, a lot of the time that's part of it.
Yeah.
So I think, and some relationships are 50-50, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, women earn their money. Actually, women actually out-earn men now, right? Single women under the age of 30 out-earn their male counterparts. So there's no reason why they can't bring 50-50 to the table.
Yeah.
But I think it's in most men's interest, because I'm not saying every guy wants to be the, you know, that masculine head relationship, like leadership part of the relationship. But if he does, it's in his interest too, I think, personally.
Yeah, 100%.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Pay for everything. That's what she thinks.
Get the cash out.
Yeah.
No, as you said, females work as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people go, well, guys should pay for everything. If you want me, pay for it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, whoa. No.
I don't think they should be entitled to it. That's the difference.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it should be 50-50, but guys should pay a little bit more.
Sure.
And I think, like, traditional wise, you know what I mean? Like, if, you know, back in the day, the girls will go and clean the house, do the stuff for the guy. So the guy will go work, get the bread.
Yep.
And then come back, and then the girls would do all the other stuff that they couldn't because obviously working. But obviously, we're in this generation now. We are moved a lot forward, and times have changed. So obviously, like, I'm very like one of the girls who do like a feminist is like, no, I'll pay. Like, I work, I'll pay. You know what I mean?
Like, I think that's good though.
If we went to, like, if you go for dinner as well, it's different if the guy goes, babe, let me treat you, I'll take you out. Like, you know,
sure,
fine, treat me. It's fine.
Yeah, of course.
But if, like, you go out quite a few times, like a few dates that week, and that, literally, I'll be like, no, I'm paying, you know, like, I work too, so I save the money, I'll get this one, like, or, you know, or if you don't even, it's like first dates when you don't offer. I feel like you should always offer.
I always say this.
Always offer.
You should always offer, because it just shows appreciation.
Yeah, and also just shows like, you know, you don't expect from someone, you know, because that's what a lot of people do. They expect, they're like, well, no, they ask, I'm not bringing no money. It's when it's happened to me before. Like, our guys asked me on a date and brought no money with them, and they're like, yeah, you're paying, aren't you?
The guy said that to you. Wow, that's ballsy, you know. That's ballsy. That is ballsy.
And I was like, I'm like, oh, right, yeah, like, sure. But
I guess there's no reason why you can't, right?
You can't, I know. But then if you ask me in the date, it's our first date.
I know. I mean, I don't disagree with that, but I do think that's a very convenient position to make, because even when you like a guy, you're not asking him out on a date.
No.
You're waiting for him to ask you.
Yeah.
So even if you really want to go on the date, like, he's still asking you 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. But no, there's a few times it's happened, and they're like, I'll send you the money later or whatever, and nothing.
Did you see him again after that or no?
No.
She's like, I can pay, but if I have to pay, you ain't seeing me again.
I feel like one I did, and then again, the same thing again.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, you're right paying. I'm like, right, no, this is going to be a habit.
I really feel like that's a really rare exception of man.
Oh, really?
Like, out of 100 men, I would say less than 5 go on a first date expecting the woman to pay for him. Wait, are you saying pay for him or pay for yourself?
For both. I
think that's less than 2 in 100 men. My producer's like, nah. I think that's like less than 2 in 100 men.
2 dates I've been on, both of them made me pay for both of us.
For the first date?
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. This is why I was like...
I need to get in contact with these men. How are you making these women pay, boy? Show me your ways.
He's like, where are you getting these guys from?
Where are you getting these guys? Like, that, wow, that's honestly, that's a really, that's a rare exception.
Yeah, like,
because even most guys think the girl expects him to pay.
Yeah, which they do, don't they? It's like a normal, like...
Were they super attractive?
No. No disrespect. There wasn't like, you know...
Man just had mad game.
Like, no, that sounds bad. No, like, I just...
Just gonna say
give
sympathy
a guy...
day.
No.
Sympathy
no,
day.
I just like to give people a chance and that. And I think because I'm quite like... I've got quite a big heart, so I just feel like, not sorry, but I just feel like, you know what? you are trying, so I'll give you the benefit of doubt, like, because it could be something, you know, like, you don't know, you can't always shut everything down.
Yeah.
I just wish I shut it down, because
So wait, was it what turned you off because you paid for him? Even if you had if you had a really nice time on the date.
if I had a really nice time, which we didn't.
Okay. Both times?
Yeah, well, one of them turned up like an hour and 45 minutes late.
Oh, wow.
And then, and then they came, and then, because I didn't realise at the time, they was on a date with someone else. And then they came, and then I was like,
you sure they weren't super attractive?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
But then I was quite young. I was probably like 17. And then
okay.
like 16, 17, yeah.
Wait, you were out here paying for guys and you were 16, 17?
Yeah, I've been working since I was 13. I was doing like a side job on the weekends since I was 13. So I was like, I've been working hard.
You should be working, girl.
Yeah, and then it probably happened when I was like 19, 20. I was dating someone, like went a few dates and that, and yeah, most of the time they're like, yeah, you're right paying.
Damn. Let me ask you, what's one thing about guys you've never really understood?
Sometimes their mindset. Like, what is your end goal when you initially talk to someone?
To a girl?
To a girl, like
sex. That's pretty much it for most men. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Like, if a guy takes an interest in you because he wants to be physically intimate with you, now that's not saying he can't be like, hey, I actually want to get to know who you are.
Yeah.
Very much that can be the case. Sometimes it is. Some guys, sometimes it isn't. But a guy's not looking at you, be like, wow, she looks like she could be a really great friend. It's not happening. It's not happening.
Not happening.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is that a surprise?
Not really. Not really.
I mean, okay, would a girl take an interest in a guy for him to become a friend?
Yeah, sometimes. Because
like, you'd actually be like, oh wow, I like his look and stuff. I actually want to be his friend.
No, I wouldn't go up to go, can we be friends? But like, I'd be like, I don't know. I can't like say for all girls, but I think some girls, it's nice when you go like, say for example, fence.
Yep.
And it is nice because I have met some guy mates who I'm like, oh, okay. Like, we get on, whatever. And it's nice to have that, oh, are you going here to like, you know, you go in there. So then we could just like stay together so you're not standing by yourself. So I think it's...
So you're using him.
Not using him.
For his company.
Don't say that.
She's using him, guys.
No.
She knows he likes her and she's like, hey, just...
No,
I'm just joking.
I think there's few people, I don't know how to word it. But it's nice to have that someone who you could just have, you could relate to, like, you know, you could just have a chat. It's no different to like a normal one of your girls.
Yeah, I get that. No, that's true.
That type thing. And then you know that there's nothing, you know what I mean? They're not going to think, oh yeah, like there's anything from more than this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
I think guys
some
can
guys get
that.
straight away, go, oh right, yeah, she likes me, yeah, like, and it gets mixed. It's like, no, like we're purely just like, mates.
No, it's true. And I get that. Sometimes if you're an attractive girl, you just being friendly to a guy can make a guy think, oh, I have a chance with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
And then that's when it's like, oh, actually, no.
I think I've talked to I've spoken to a few women who are like very, very attractive, and they'd be like, anytime a guy approaches them, they just have to shut it down really harshly, because it's like, if they show any ounce of friendliness, that for guys, that's like a little window. Be like, okay, I can get in there. Do you know what I mean? That's unfortunate, but yeah, it's true, because sometimes guys will be like, what? All right, she said no. Why does she have to be so harsh about it?
Yeah,
and it's like, because so her experience is like,
yeah.
I don't think you should be rude. I don't think there's any reason to be rude, but
no, definitely not.
I understand from a lot of women's experience. They're like, well, if I don't shut it down cold-bloodedly, you're still gonna try.
Yeah, and then it gets worse for, you know what I mean? Time goes on, and they're thinking, oh yeah, and then all of a sudden when it's like, boom, it's like, what the hell? Like, so you just want to get it done, dusted, see you go. Like,
yeah.
And also, you don't want to waste that other person's time.
That's true.
Because you know what I mean? And it's that little bit of hope.
Yeah, no, it's true. Well, some people like to do that. I think guys give hope in one way and women give hope in another.
Yeah.
Guys are like, yeah, we're having sex and this could turn to something. And women are like, oh yeah, like we're friends. I'm just not doing anything serious right now.
Meantime, they're like, got all these emotions. They've like planned your wedding, planned this.
100%. They're falling in love with the dream. And then when you don't say yes to that, they're like, what the fuck? What happened?
They're like, you're this.
Literally. Listen, we're going to wrap it there, Brooke.
It's
We're
all
going to
good.
wrap it there. So thank you for coming on and sharing your energy with us. If people want to find you, where can they find you?
So on my socials, so BrookeWoolley_X, and that's on like my Insta, TikTok, and Twitter. So yeah.
Perfect. Well, we appreciate you. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Guys, go show Brooke the love. You know how we do. Go give her a follow, give her a like, you know, and if anyone's looking for ballet lessons, you found your girl. Okay,
Hello.
ballet and street. Ballet and street.
And a load more. Sorry.
100%. All of that. But we appreciate you for coming on. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Guys, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in the next episode.